All right, welcome back to part three. I believe it is. I hope it's part three or part four. I'm going to start losing count. So we'll take off from where we left off last time. So I was sitting here and I was looking at this. And I said to myself, don't forget wherever your point is, that's your eye line. Okay, that's your eye line. Anything below this, you're seeing the top. Anything above this, you're seeing the bottom. So if I put cabinets up here, since that's above the eye line, I'm going to do this. They're going to go like this. They're going to go like this. This is the side of it. This is the bottom of it. Going back to this. This is the bottom of it. And I'm just doing a rough. We're doing a rough. Like that. So you're seeing the bottom of that cabinet. If I did a shelf in there, the shelf is going to be here. This is kind of like glass. Let's just say this is glass. The shelf is going to be like this. Another shelf is going to, it's got to go down to the point, Brian. So another one's got to go up like this. So it's going to go back. And you might see this back wall, which is right here. So then you're going to have the shelf go like that. So if I did this in ink so you can actually see it without all the mess ups, you're seeing the bottom of that cabinet because it's above that eye line. So it's going to be like this without being able to see through it. Like this. And here is my wall. Here's my side wall right here. So it's going to come back here and then go like that. And there's my side wall again. So this is going to go this way, it's going to go flat, and it's going to go toward that point. So that's the cabinet you would see above the eye line. This isn't below the eye line. Where's my big eraser so I don't use up my pencil eraser? These pencils are great for drawing, but the erasers just like suck. I mean, they need to make a better material eraser. So that's what my cabinet is going to look like being above. Another thing you need to do is when you start looking at stuff, when you say to yourself, okay, you know what, I'm going to start drawing, I'm going to become an artist, I'm going to be good, I'm going to do all of this stuff. You need to start looking at stuff and keeping it in your memory like a mouse or something, you know. This is a different shaped mouse, but you need to be able to see something and remember it. And say, so when the next time you decide you want to draw a mouse, if I'm going to draw a basic mouse, I'm like, okay, I know it's like this. And I think it has a little button on top. And it might have a little clicker button on the side. And it's got this and the tail. That's the old school mouse. Mice. I don't have one. Yeah, I do. I think it's like this. And it's got one like that. See, I have to remember. This is what I'm saying about remembering stuff. Because a lot of times with drawing stuff, you don't always have the reference to go back and do it, to see it. So you have to kind of remember it. I mean, we use stuff all the time. Why not remember it? What does a toilet look like? What does your exact toilet look like? I can tell you the shape of a toilet, but when I say what does your toilet look like, can you draw that? All right, so yeah, just start looking at stuff differently. All right, so what we did with this is going to be the same thing that you do when you draw an outside picture minus the walls. Let's just say this one is going to be an outside picture. Here's my eye line way back here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to continue these lines here. And then I'm going to just put some lines in like that. I mean, you can put them in, you can do the same thing over here and then keep them going over there. As in, here's my squares all the way back. So I'm going down, here's my lines. I can keep the lines going all the way across. And then just erase these poles. So let me flip this over and just say this. This is my land. All the way across. Here's what I'm going to use. And this is just telling me how flat or how not flat this land is going to be. Or how high I'm going to be above seeing. Because this is my eye line. So I'm seeing all of this land here. So as I say, you can continue to do this. You know, and then you kind of know where to put stuff, and you can do this. Do it lightly or do it and have a light table. I know a lot of you beginning, you don't have a light table. You might not know what a light table is. A light table is a box. I can reach mine, but then I'd be doing too much. It's basically a box with a light and it has plastic over top of it. You turn the light on, you put your paper on it, and you can see through it. So it's a light table. You get some cheap, you can get some for, you know, a lot of money. As I said, you can keep going all the way through this and then erase these. So then if I'm drawing people, I can have a place. I'll just do this. Let's just say I'm drawing a forest. I say, okay, I want a tree right here. A forest, or just some trees. You know, I want a tree right here. I want to put a tree right here, right in these little squares. So I'll just throw some in there randomly. Just pretend you see the squares. I'll put one right here. I'll put one, and of course, the further you go back, the smaller they're going to be. I'm going to put one right here. Put one here. Put one over here. So now I have my open area. Now, if I want to put my people where at war, I can put them, you know, behind the trees. I can have a bunch of them charging right here. And I can have some of them back here, some of them hiding behind the trees back here. So that just gives you a nice open area. When you do that, of course, it all depends on how much you tilt. You are tilting your ground. Okay, because if I have something, I need something a little bigger for this one. If I have something too small, something, where's the boots? Okay, I've got a couple boots here. So this is my ground. So I have these boots here. These boots to go to, I think it was one of my G.I. Joe characters. I got to turn it because I can see it, but you guys can't see it. I got to put it in the camera. When you have one in front of the other, depending on how much you turn it, you have one something in front of the other. This gives you a different look. I was going to say something about this, but I lost it. If you have like a person in front of a person behind a person, like that. Okay? Hopefully that did make some sense because I want to move on to more perspective. If I want to have people, okay, so I have these lines here. Let's just say this guy. I want to have somebody standing next to this guy. So his feet are here. Bottom of his feet are right here. Top of his head is right here. So I'm going to draw that line from this wall to that wall. So I'm going to have a person standing next to this guy. They're both 6 feet, 6'1", whatever. So it has to be the same. His head is going to be on that same line. His shoulder is going to be the same, and his feet are going to be on that same line for the ground. If not, then he's going to look like he's either in front of him or behind him. As long as his feet are on that same line, and he can be 5 feet tall. She can be shorter, but as long as his feet are on that same line, then they'll be right next to each other. Now, if I want to draw somebody else back here, let's see, draw them, and then his feet are going to be on that line. So where their head is on this line here, it's going to go down to that point here. That's going to be hard because these guys are in the way. So let's just say I'll stop at this point and I'll put his head right here. And I'm going to have to do that on another piece of paper, and his feet are going to be right there. These guys are in the same room, but they're not in the same spot. He's further down because I put his feet somewhere else. Let me do another piece and make it a little easier for you guys. All right, so here is, I'm going to give a big room, give a big area. I should do this on a clean piece of paper, but I'll do it kind of dark. So, yeah. Yeah, another piece of paper. If my camera doesn't say it's full again. So let me do my room. A quick rough room. And I want to get more floor. Should have been smaller. And this is going to be rough now, so just bear with me. But it's all the same. And of course you could go up like this with the room. Same point. And then you have the perfect. So if I put a guy right here, these should be smaller lines, but that's okay. Okay, here's one guy right here. There's two guys right here. I just draw the stick, people. Stop trying to be perfect. Same line here. These guys are the same head, same height, because it hits the wall right here, hits the wall right there. If I want to draw somebody else way over here, same thing. Same line, same height. Hits the floor and hits the wall, same area. Now if I want to draw somebody further, I'm going to pick the floor and the wall right here. And remember, we were counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 feet. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this was 6 feet, it's going to go down here. It's still going to be 6 feet at this point right here. So his head is here, and this line is going to be where his feet are going to be right there. If I want to draw somebody further back, this is my 6 foot point. I'm going to go all the way back. This is my 6 foot point. Take it over. Let's say I put him right here. And then it's going to be, the ground is going to be right here in one of those squares. He's still in the same room. Okay? Now, as I say, if I want to draw somebody smaller, like a woman or something next to this guy, she's smaller, I'll just do the body. And as long as the feet are on the same line, she's there. So it's basically your head, toe, and then that's going to be your line. 6 foot height line, and you're just going to take that line back all the way back. If everybody's 6 feet, so right here, I'm going to bring it out. It's going to be somebody else, and he could be behind this guy, or the guy and the girl, to my ground right here, which I'm bringing out. Of course, here's my line. Bringing out, and put the person right there on that line, on those lines. And then you always have people that you are good to measure by. And since I'm way up high, like I was, where's the other one that I just did? I was really high, so because I'm low, because you have more length going back this way than you do with this one here. So if I drew somebody like, let's say if his neck, this is the bottom of his neck right here, the bottom of his head, cranium. Here's his neck right here. So if I did somebody like really big, this would be, he's back here looking. This is the bottom of the cranium. Let's just put his nose right here, so you know what I'm saying. And put his neck here, and his shoulders here. He would be looking right at these guys, and he would fit, because that line is, I had this line through his eye. Wherever that line goes across, it's got to go across. If that line is on his shoulders, let's just say it's his shoulders. If that line is on their shoulders, it has to be on his shoulders. It has to be on the next guy's shoulders, no matter how far back he is. And that's another way to show that everybody's in the same room. So if this was his shoulders here, and he's coming up from behind, and he's got whatever, a knife, he's gonna stab everybody, he would fit in that room too. As long as everybody is on that same line, he would be good to go. All right, now the same would apply, that's the word I'm looking for, with objects. If you're doing people, or if you're doing objects. Let's see, here's my front line, here's my back line, here's my point. And your point does not have to be in the middle all the time. You can put your point over here. That your vanishing point be right here, vanishing point, eye line. It could be anywhere. But if you do your buildings, and I'm going to try to do this without, then it's going to mess up if I try to do it without guidelines like that. So if I put a building here or a box here, let's just say we're going to go, everybody's going to go back. Every box is going to go back. If I do another one here, is it above? It's still below that eye line. So I'm going to do this here, this here, this here, this here. Now this is behind it because it's not on the same line. So this line and this line that it's on, this is on a different line, so it's behind that. Same thing here. If I want to do another one way up here, now this is going to go above the eye line, so it's going to be, by using blue, going to be like this. And because this is above the eye line, remember we're going to have this. This is going to represent, sides are always going to be square. If you do any kind of square, the side of it is going to be regular rectangle. Front, or should I call this the front, the side is going to be going back in perspective. But you're going to keep the front square. So like this, and then this one, because this is above, you're not going to see the top, and you're going to see the bottom of the ground, but this is covering it up. It's going to be, let's bring this out more like this, and then like that. So if you're doing a city or any kind of cars or trucks or whatever, it's going to be like that. It's going to go all the way. It's going to go. As long as it stays on what? I think I've been drawing for like 2 hours now, so the brain is like turning into mush. That would be the same thing as in people, and you can even turn people. You can take the rectangle if you're having trouble drawing people, and I'll get into that one once I get into this. Like drawing people or drawing the figure like that. You put the head on top of that figure, round it off a little bit, add the arms. Let's go with some color. Put the head on it. Round it off, and then we got the snowman again. We're stacking the snowman. Put one foot down, that's got to go back. Put the other foot down, it's going to be in perspective. One arm down, the other arm down. We're going to get into that later. It's as simple as that. If you're drawing people in perspective, I'll put a person right here. I'll chop this off like that. I'll put a head here. I'll put a person right here. Chop that off on the side, put his head here, put his arms, and you have people in perspective. Now, everything does not have to go back to this line. Again, we have this line here, not again, new. We have this line right here. Something can go to that line, because here is my line here. Let's just say we have this and this, and we're going to have to, anytime you do something that's not at the center, you're going to end up doing your 2-point perspective. Because if I take a box like this, a square like that, short in front of you, you'll see this. You see this rectangle or that square. But anytime I tilt it to the side, and you see that side, you see how these lines start to converge? It's a 2-point perspective. So because this is not in the center, I'm going to have to turn, let's just do this. I'm going to have to turn that box like this. Now where everything was going this way, now this one is going that way because of these lines. That's going that way, and of course again, now I can have it either straight across or I can turn it, but if I turn it, then I'm going to a new point in perspective. So for now, let's just go straight across this way. So now I have something different. And the same thing, if I want to put a person facing, well, this guy's going that way. Same thing. I was going to draw one this way, but this guy's facing that way, so you get the point. All right, I'm going to cut this video right here because I think I might have stopped it for a minute, so I'm not sure if it added up to 30 minutes or not, but if not, I know it's up to about 18 to 20 minutes now, plus with an ending and a beginning, it might be 20, 25 minutes. So I will see you guys in the next part. I think this one's going to be really short, but I'll see you guys in the next part. Yeah.